official at the scores table. Official scores table. There will be a 4-minute overtime quarter. Each team will have 1 extra timeout.
Box. Box.
That's not how you're supposed to do that. Oh my god. That was a fuck up on the effort.
If it doesn't work, use this right here. And if that pops up, just click it.
It's doing it by itself.
Yeah, it did that earlier.
Ladies and gentlemen, because of the time constraint, this is your final score, 67-67. One more time, because of the time constraint for the varsity game, a JV game, 1 overtime period. Let's give a big round of applause for both teams here tonight. They played their hearts out. 67 all. History made tonight here in the Fairmont.
from the Fairmont Senior Fieldhouse. It's a Valentine's Day special. Not a lot of love lost between these two teams, though. It's the East-West rivalry getting a late start at the Fairmont Fieldhouse. Hi, I'm Jeff Carpenter, ready to bring you the story tonight as these two teams will square off for the second time. But you take a look at the big picture, and you see that this game has been so dominated by the Polar Bears in recent years. The last time East Fairmont won this game, most of these players weren't even in school yet. Fairmont has won 30 consecutive games. The last time the Bees won an East-West basketball game, it was 2011. So we're talking about 13 years ago. And the Polar Bears have had some tight games with the Bees, but they've kept the streak alive, and tonight they hope to make it 31 here on their home court. The two teams have played earlier this season. We talked about that a few moments ago. East Fairmont fell to the Polar Bears on the Bees' home court in what turned out to be a rather lackluster East-West game. The final score was 43-25. You see that score and you think, oh, a slowdown game. Well, not really, as both teams just had struggles offensively. The Polar Bears didn't shoot well, but they shot magnificently compared to the Bees. The Polar Bears were 42% from the floor, East Fairmont 25%. That meant they made just 9 of 36 shots. East scored a total of 25 points in the game. They scored 6 points in the second half. That, as I mentioned earlier, was the lowest East-West final score for the Bees since the 1940s. So we're going back about 80 years since the Bees had a first half that unproductive. Tonight it'll be totally different, though. On the Polar Bears home court, there have been lots of times where the Bees have played better on the Polar Bears home court than they have played on their own. And we'll see if tonight will bear that out as well. Tyrone Estrino, the longtime East Fairmont coach, David Retton, the longtime Polar Bear coach. These two teams know each other well. When we come back, we'll talk more about this matchup tonight and what's coming ahead in this game as East meets West here at the Fairmont Fieldhouse on 93.1.
I'm Keith Powell, and going on right now is my Keith Says Yes Fest. I'm saying yes to lowering your payments, yes to your trade-in, regardless of condition, miles, even if you're still making payments. My Keith Says Yes credit approval process helps me say yes, you're approved. So if you want new Chevys, yes. New Fords, yes. Lifetime warranty, yes. Come see me, Keith Powell at Yes Chevy in Hurricane and Yes Ford in Huntington.
An injury at any age can be a game changer, but with walk-in clinics Monday through Saturday, the Marshall Sports Medicine Institute is ready to get you off the bench and back in the game. Marshall Sports Medicine Institute takes care of the herd. Let us take care of you.
Hi, this is Meredith Mayer from Fairmont, West Virginia, and when I'm back home, you can find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that thundering herd pride at your local Parmar stores. We are over 200 stores strong and growing. Download the Parmar app for even more savings and sign up for the Parmar Rewards Card. Whether it's food, gas, or groceries, we have you covered. We are Marshall and we are Parmar stores.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Sandwiches, better with Pepsi. Since 1965, the team at City Construction has been an industry leader in all facets of construction, shaping the West Virginia landscape with some of the most recognizable commercial projects throughout the state. As one of the largest general contractors in North Central West Virginia, our outstanding record of quality workmanship and personal service is here for your next project. Call our team of experts today.
Give us the opportunity to design build your next project. City Construction Company, West Virginia proud since 1965.
Won rather easily, 64-35 over Robert Seabird. But you know, the Flying Eagles actually out-rebounded the Polar Bears in that game, 23-22. But Fairmont's secret was 54% shooting and only 3 turnovers. And on the RCB side, the Flying Eagles shot only 37%, and they turned the ball over 17 times. So they turned it over 14 more times than the Polar Bears did. And Fairmont Senior ran away with it in the second half, winning by a final score of 64-35. That, by the way, was the Polar Bears' 17th consecutive win to start the season. Fairmont 17-0 overall, 14-0 in the conference. And the Bees, 13 wins, 5 losses overall, 10-2 in conference play. I did have a chance to check in with East Fairmont coach Tyrone Estrino before the game tonight. We talked a little bit about that last game, and he conceded there's not much to take away from that performance.
Honestly, it doesn't. I agree with you. It wasn't a very well-played game. Personally, on our side, we shot the ball poorly, had some turnovers that we shouldn't have had. But I think tonight's a whole different scenario, and both teams are well into their season. And, I think both teams have improved dramatically and should be a good game.
Look at your schedule, and I see the Bees have won 9 of 10 since that last East-West game, so things going pretty well for you.
Yeah, we've put together a string of wins, and, I think that the strength of our schedule helps, now later in the season, because early in the season it was very challenging in the month of December, but we, sort of wanted it to be that way so that hopefully it would pay off now. And, right now, we're working through, conference and a few out-of-conference games still, but for the most part, right now, we're playing some of our better basketball.
The only result in this last several games for you that was surprising was that Liberty game that you lost. What happened in that game?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't know what a whole lot of people know about Liberty, but there's a reason that Liberty's state ranked, and they've got some senior kids, and they're a very good ball team. And they came in and shot the ball extremely well after the first quarter. First quarter, they didn't shoot it well. Then they got on a roll when they hit a ton of threes against us. And, they laid a tail kicking on us that night for sure.
This East-West game, you could play this game in your sleep. You know this Polar Bear team so well. What do you look for from them tonight? What do you have to do to be successful?
I don't look for anything to be different. You know what Dave's teams are going to do. I think personally this is maybe one of his best defensive teams that he's had. And when you have to play against them in the half court, that makes it even harder because they dig in on you and they're very skilled defensively. Not a lot of people talk about that side of the ball, but I think they're skilled defensively, maybe, like I said, better than any team he's had here recently. From an offensive standpoint, that Grant and Dobbs are, two kids you got to key on. Cumberledge is another one. Trey can shoot. There's no doubt. So, they've got very skilled players, very nice players, and again, very deserving of a #1 ranking.
That's East Fairmont coach Tyrone Estrino as he gets set to match up with the Polar Bears here on Fairmont Senior's home court. In that first game, the leading scorer for the Bees was Grayson Stewart. He was the only player in double figures. Of course, East only scored 25. There weren't a whole lot of points left after his 12, but Jackson Crusoe struggled offensively for the Bees. He had 6. Drew Moore 4, and Maddox Boyers had 3. On the Fairmont side, the scoring was low as well. Zykeas Dobbs just 13 points, but he was the leading scorer. 10 points for Andre Grant and 9 for Darrell Claybrook. Again, the Polar Bears won that game 43-25. So we're just about ready for the introduction of the starting lineups and the delayed start of this East-West matchup. It's all coming up next here on Fun 93.1.
Hi, this is Meredith Mayer from Fairmont, West Virginia, and when I'm back home, you can find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We had that thundering herd pride at your local Par-Mar stores. We are over 200 stores strong and growing. Download the Par-Mar app for even more savings and sign up for the Par-Mar rewards card. Whether it's food, gas, or groceries, we have you covered. We are Marshall, and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Here at the Cracker Barrel, home-style food and great value go hand in hand, with favorites like slow-simmered chicken and dumplings starting at $7.99, or perfectly golden fluffy buttermilk pancakes with your own bottle of warm syrup. Come fill up on favorites without emptying your wallet. Cracker Barrel. Take care now.
And now, please stand as the honor of America, who will play our national anthem. And now for the visiting teams of the Fairmont High School starting lineup, beginning with 0, Max Boyer. Number 21, Blake Hunt. Number 24, Ian Cruikshanks.
It's East Fairmont, Fairmont Senior, or otherwise known as East West, tonight at the Fairmont Fieldhouse. The Bees being introduced now. It'll be Maddox Boyer starting in the backcourt, along with Blake Hunt. Ian Cruikshanks starts inside, along with Grayson Stewart and Jackson Caruso. Caruso is the Bees' leading scorer. He is a 6'7" senior. The Bees wearing the navy blue uniforms. For the Polar Bears tonight, starters will be sophomore Darrell Claybrook. He averages 7 points a game. Andre Grant, the second leading scorer. He comes into this game with a 14-point-per-game average. Zykeus Dobbs, who will soon become the all-time leading scorer in Fairmont Senior history. He's averaging 24 points a game. Inside, Trey Cumberledge at 6'3", 185, and then Jules Butler, a sophomore, at 5'10", 160. Cumberledge is the Polar Bears' third leading scorer. He averages 12.5 points a game, 7 rebounds a contest. As a team, the Polar Bears are averaging 66 points, their opponents 42, and the Polar Bears have won every game they have played here in the 23-24 season. Our officials tonight, Paul Ayers, Darren Washington, and Bobby Clifton. They had a little longer wait getting set for this game tonight. Their dressing room just beyond our broadcast spot, behind the stage here to my left. And they are starting about 20 minutes later than they anticipated. Caruso jumps and Dobbs gets the tip, and the Polar Bears control to start this game. Fairmont has the basketball first, and East Fairmont goes zone. Dobbs, left wing Butler, open three from there. It is good. Jules Butler has been hot with a three lately, and he has his 19th of the year. And in the front court, a traveling violation called against the Bees, and the first turnover will give the ball back to Fairmont Senior. So the Polar Bears in the white uniforms have the basketball sidelines in the backcourt in front of their student section. Claybrook gets it into Grant, and Grant dribbles up from left to right. Bees in a 3-2 zone. Caruso at the top of the zone. Grant, right wing Butler. Jules back to Grant on the left wing. Deep left corner to Cumberledge. Back outside, Grant gets it over to Butler. Butler can't get in, gets it back to Grant. Grant back to Butler. To the baseline area to Dobbs. Nice pass to Cumberledge, and he lays it in. Cumberledge gets the basket from Dobbs. Polar Bears 5, East nothing. Grayson Stewart in the front court. Backs in against Grant and lays it in nicely. Grayson Stewart has his first basket. Polar Bears have a 5-2 lead. Dobbs, top of the key, Claybrook swings it over to Grant on the wing. Back outside now to Butler. Butler back to Grant. Grant penetrates, cutoff. Back to Claybrook. One hands it back to Butler at the top of the key. Bounces to Dobbs in the left corner. Back to Grant on the wing. Deep right corner, Cumberledge. Back out to Grant. Grant. Dobbs gets it now, right wing. Penetrates inside and is called for traveling, and the Polar Bears turn it over for the first time. Something that Dobbs doesn't do very often. Just 43 turnovers now in 18 games. East with the basketball. Crusoe against pressure. Gets it back now to Boyers. And Boyers will dribble up. The pressure bothered the Bees on their home court. Boyers passes top of the key now to Crusoe. Back to the basket. It's Dobbs guarding him. Zykeas typically guards the other team's most productive offensive player. Boyers back now to Crusoe. Crusoe uses Crookshanks as a screener and then gets it over to Boyers along the sidelines. Bounce pass inside, the ball knocked loose from Stewart. He puts it up no good, and Dobbs one-hands the rebound. Outlet pass for Cumberledge over his head and towards the exit gate here at the Fieldhouse. Turnover number 2 for the Polar Bears. That one an aggressive turnover, though, not a careless one. And Fairmont will give the ball up. The Bees have it in the backcourt. Against full court pressure. It comes to Boyers. Boyers against Claybrook. Gets it across the center line. Fairmont senior man-to-man. And that's their go-to defense. Stewart against Grant. Gets it down to the baseline. Puts it up off the mark, no good. But Caruso is there for the rebound, and he puts it in. Jackson Crusoe. Fairmont senior 5, East Fairmont 4. Cumberledge almost loses it along the baseline. Gets it to Grant, who muscles his way to the basket, and he's fouled. Foul goes against Blake Hunt of the Bees. Grant at the line for the Polar Bears. He'll shoot 2. The first one is up and it spins out. No good. Grant's a really good foul shooter, too. He doesn't miss 79% this season, so he turns and walks away from the line. First trip to the line for either team tonight. Grant will try to salvage one of 2. 5:30 to go in the first quarter, and the second one is good. And the Polar Bears have a 2-point lead, drop out of the full court pressure. Now Claybrook will pick up Boyers at midcourt. Gets it into the front court now. Gives up the dribble, bounces it to Crusoe, top of the key. Crusoe gets it back to Boyers. Boyers around a screen, drives all the way for the basket and banks it in nicely. Boyers gets the basket. Fairmont lead, or it's tied at 6. Right corner, Cumberledge open for a 3. It's good. Trey Cumberledge has the Polar Bears beat the Bees down the court, and Fairmont has a 9-6 lead. Into the front court comes Boyers. Gets it back to Hunt. Hunt launches a high-arching 3, bounces off the rim, but Crusoe gets the rebound nicely, and he puts it in. Crusoe had to outfight Dobbs for that one, and the Bees trail by 1. It's 9-8. Dobbs on the right wing. Back to Grant, top of the key. Over to Butler on the wing. Top of the key to Grant. Back to Cumberledge. Trey has really become a long ball shooting threat for the Polar Bears here the second half of the season. He has made 21 threes. He leads the team in that category. And he's shooting 36% from three-point range. Inside, Cumberledge gets it. Left corner open. Grant's three-point shot is good. Grant gets the 3 from Cumberledge. Fairmont senior leads 12-8. Boyers drives in against Claybrook, and he scores. Nice penetration by Maddox Boyers, and the Bees trail by 2. Claybrook top of the key, bounces it to Butler. Butler right wing, Dobbs. Dobbs one-hands it to Claybrook, deep left corner, back outside to Grant. Grant lob inside under the basket to Dobbs. Dobbs against Crusoe, puts it up no good, and the rebound comes down to Crusoe. Get it into the front court across the center line, picked up by Andre Grant. Crusoe looks to the sidelines for his coach. He's getting a 5 count. Gives up the dribble and gets a new 5. Lobs it down inside to Stewart. Back to the basket against Claybrook. Puts it up, shot blocked, foul called against the Polar Bears sophomore, Darrell Claybrook. Trying to isolate Stewart inside on the smaller Claybrook. And he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Stewart, 2 points tonight. First time the two teams played. He was 4 for 6 from the line, and the first one is good. Has 3 points tonight. V's with 11 points here in the first quarter. Polar Bears up by 1. Second free throw is good. We're tied. 12-12. Fairmont senior with the basketball. Grant quickly in the front court to Claybrook. Back to Grant. Top of the key, Dobbs. Dobbs back to the basket. Gets it to Grant. Top of the key, Butler. Butler bounces it to Dobbs on the wing. Down low, left corner, Cumberland. Back out to Dobbs. Back to Butler. Right wing, Grant. Back to Butler. And he gets it back to Andre. Deep right corner. Back to Butler. Top of the key, Dobbs. Over to Butler. Left wing, Cumberledge. Cumberledge back to Jules. Bounce pass in the lane to Dobbs. Right wing, Grant. Grant back outside to Butler. Butler gets it deep right corner to Grant. Back to Butler. Top of the key, Dobbs. Dobbs starts to penetrate. Makes a move to the basket. Left corner, Cumberledge for a 3. Short. Rebound tipped into the air by Grant and knocked out of bounds to the Bees. So Fairmont had to work hard for that 3-point shot. The long rebound out of bounds to East Fairmont. And the Bees have it with a chance to take the lead. 12-12 is our score. 2:30 to go in the first quarter from Fairmont. Maddox Boyers with it. Polar Bears back in a little zone now. Stewart gets it to Crookshanks. Lob down inside under the basket to Crusoe. Puts it up good, and he's fouled. So they work Crusoe down inside, and he gets the basket, and he's fouled on the play, and the foul will go against the Polar Bears' Trey Cumberledge. Cumberledge with the body, guilty of the foul, and Crusoe will shoot. He has 6 points here in the first quarter, and the first time the two teams played, he had 6 points in the entire game. To shoot one free throw at the line to the left. East with a 14-12 lead. And his foul shot is good. And the Bees are up by 3. And the Polar Bears get it in the front court. Dobbs drops it to Butler. Top of the key, Cumberledge. Cumberledge. Right corner, Dobbs open for a 3. Off the mark, rebound, Cumberledge. Trey decides to shoot from 16, and it is good. Cumberledge has surprisingly good touch from outside. And the Polar Bears trail 15-14. You think of Cumberledge, you think, oh, he's an inside player. Not at all. Left wing, Crusoe has it. Crusoe backs up to the center circle, and now hand check foul called against the Polar Bears. Dobbs gets the foul. That'll be his first. And the ball will be out of bounds to the Bees with 1:45 to go in the opening quarter. And East with a 15-14 lead. Boyers throws it into Crusoe, guarded by Dobbs. Crusoe makes a move back to the three-point line and gets it over to Boyers at the center circle. Boyers getting a 5 count with Butler right on him. And he gets away from it by going around the screen. Now drives inside, almost travels back to Hunt for a 3. Off the mark, rebound Dobbs. Polar Bears have it down by 1 with 1:15 to go first quarter. Dobbs races into the front court, goes for the basket, misses the shot. Rebound poked away, picked up by Crusoe. Crusoe driving into the front court to the foul line, towards the basket, and a whistle and a foul called against the Polar Bears' Andre Grant, and that will be his first. Now they call it on Claybrook, and that will be his second. I think they're going to, now they're changing it. Bobby Clifton changing the foul call from Claybrook to Grant. That's the way I had seen it, and at least the first announced it. Crusoe misses the first foul shot. He'll shoot one more with the Bees on top, 15-14. The second one is good. And the Polar Bears trail by 2. Grant gets it quickly into the front court around his man. And his shot blocked from behind by Crusoe. Out of bounds to the Polar Bears. Nice defensive play by Jackson Crusoe as he swatted that ball into the floor. Polar Bears have it. It comes into Dobbs. Back in the right corner to Butler. Butler dribbles it out. Falls down with the ball, but gets it to Grant. Leans in, shovels it under the basket to Claybrook. Gets it back to Dobbs. Dobbs double teamed in the corner. Open left corner to Grant. Left wing Cumberledge. Cumberledge brings it back outside. Polar Bears down by 2 with 40 seconds to go, and now we'll go for the final shot of the first quarter.
You make the call. You make the call. Open.
Grant with the basketball for the Polar Bears, and he's dribbling around the center circle now with 20 seconds to go. Fairmont Senior trailing 16-14. Clock turns down to 12, and the ball comes to Butler on the wing. Gets it over to Dobbs with 10 seconds to go. Dobbs hits Grant, top of the key, off balance 3, off the back of the rim. Cumberledge secures the rebound, and he is fouled by Boyers. That's just the second foul against the Bees in the first half, or the first quarter rather. The Polar Bears have 4. Ball out to Fairmont in front of the East bench with 3.9 to go. Lob comes inside for Dobbs, batted away, out of bounds by the Bees, out of bounds to the Polar Bears. Crookshanks knocking that ball out of bounds. In it comes to Grant behind a screen for a 3. Off the mark. Cumberledge rebounds but can't get the shot up in time. That's the end of the first quarter from the Fairmont Fieldhouse. East Fairmont 16. The Fairmont Polar Bears 14 on Fun 93.1.
Hi, my name's Zach Frazier and I'm from Fairmont, West Virginia. And when I'm back at home in Fairmont, you'll find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that Golden Boot pride at Parmar. There are literally hundreds of Parmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Parmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Parmar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
An injury at any age can be a game changer. But with walk-in clinics Monday through Saturday, the Marshall Sports Medicine Institute is ready to get you off the bench and back in the game. Marshall Sports Medicine Institute takes care of the herd. Let us take care of you.
Sandwiches, better with Pepsi.
Ready for the second quarter from the Fairmont Fieldhouse, and the Polar Bears trail by 2. It's 16-14. Fairmont's second quarter lineup. Grant, Claybrook, Butler, Dobbs, and Cumberledge. And for the Bees, Crookshanks, Boyers, Crusoe, Moore, and Hunt. Boyers with it on the right wing. Bounce pass comes to Crookshanks. Dribbles it off his foot. It's picked up by Boyers. Back outside it comes to Moore. Over to Boyers on the right wing. Deep right corner now to Crusoe. Crusoe guarded by Claybrook. Down to the baseline. Puts one up off the rim. No good. But there's Crookshanks with a follow. That's his first basket. Bees by 4. Grant front court. Baseline area. Moves into the lane, back to Dobbs. Dobbs hooks it deep left corner to Claybrook. He'll take a 3 from there. It is good. Darrell Claybrook hits a 3 from the left corner. His 4th 3-point basket of the season, and it's the Polar Bears' 4th 3-pointer of the game. Well, they're calling it a 2-point basket, so it's 18-16. So, scratch that 3-pointer. Here's Moore, and you can put that one in the book as Drew Moore hits the 3 from the left wing, and East leads 21-16. Outside with it is Claybrook. Right wing, Dobbs. Dobbs hands it off to Butler. Butler back outside to Grant. Grant guarded by Boyers. Gets it in the left corner to Dobbs, goes baseline, gets it to Claybrook, open from 12, off the back of the rim, no good. He hustles after the rebound and gets it back to Butler. Bees with a 5-point lead. Dobbs gets it, nice pass inside, but Cumberledge can't hang on to it. And it's out of bounds to the Bees with 6:18 to go in the first half, and East Fairmont with a 21-16 lead. Back into the game for East Fairmont is Grayson Stewart. Stewart was hot early for the Bees. Scored 4 points in the first few minutes of the first quarter. Boyers with it, gets it to Moore. 6:05 to go here in the first half. Polar Bears trail by 5. Boyers one-hands it to Hunt in the right corner. Down inside to Crusoe against Dobbs. Tries to back himself in, hooks it up good, and he's fouled, and Dobbs will get his second. Crusoe with 10 points now. And he'll go to the line looking for the three-point play. And the Polar Bears now trail by 7, 23-16. And Crusoe shoots one. Right-hander puts it up, and it is good. And it's a 24-16 game. Bees with the ball front court, and a timeout called by the Polar Bears. East off to a fast start here at the Fairmont Fieldhouse. The score, East Fairmont 24, Fairmont Senior 16 on Fun 93.1.
National Bank, where you can purchase or refinance your home with the no down payment Champion Mortgage. No down payment, no private mortgage insurance, no kidding. Visit your local branch to get started today. City National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. To learn more, log on to mortgage.bankancity.com.
Sandwiches, better with Pepsi.
East Fairmont with an 8-point lead. It's 24-16, 5:50 to go in the second quarter. The Polar Bear lineup, Butler, Grant, Cumberledge, Claybrook, and Dobbs. Zykeas playing with 2 fouls. He hasn't had to do much of that this season, play in foul trouble. Butler with the ball on the left wing to Grant. Back now to Dobbs, around a Cumberledge screen. Back to Grant, penetrates, feeds it inside. Cumberledge picks up the loose ball but misses the shot under the basket, and the Bees get the rebound. Here's Boyers in the front with the ball poked away from him, loose, and Claybrook picks it up. Out it comes to Grant. Grant into the front court. Back to Butler, right wing Dobbs. Zykeas goes baseline under the basket, now bounces that out to Grant on the wing. Grant penetrates in front of the basket, puts it up, no good, but he is fouled, and he'll shoot 2 at the line to the right. Grayson Stewart is going to pick up the foul. Got him with the body as Grant was making his penetration move. And Andre, 4 points tonight, 1 for 2 at the foul line. Will shoot with 5:15 to go in the second quarter. Spins the ball with the right hand and puts the first free throw up, and it rolls in good. East Fairmont 24, the Polar Bears 17. Second shot for the senior, Andre Grant. And it is good. And it's a 6-point East lead. Polar Bears in pressure now. Stewart gets it to Boyers. Back now to Stewart. Back to Boyers. Still in the back court. Across the center line to Stewart. Crusoe rather gets it to Boyers. Drives in for the basket. And a whistle and a foul called. Foul called against Darrell Claybrook of the Polar Bears. That will be his second. Inbounds comes to Hunt, deep left corner, 3, no good. Rebound Grant. Outlet comes to Dobbs. Dobbs into the front court from left to right. Takes it down to the wing, feeds Grant, foul line shot, rolls up the rim and in good. Andre Grant from Dobbs, and the Polar Bears trail by 4, 24-20. The Beast with the ball, and Boyers dribbles up, gets it across the timeline. Guarded by Butler. Bounces it to Crusoe, top of the key. Cumberledge guarding him. He hands it off to Moore. Moore called for traveling. Took an extra step. Oh no, an offensive foul called against Crusoe. That'll be his first foul. And a timeout called by the Bees. 4:32 to go, second quarter. The score, East Fairmont 24, Fairmont Senior 20 on Fun 93.1.
1965, the team at City Construction has been an industry leader in all facets of construction, shaping the West Virginia landscape with some of the most recognizable commercial projects throughout the state. As one of the largest general contractors in north central West Virginia, our outstanding record of quality workmanship and personal service is here for your next project. Call our team of experts today.
Give us the opportunity to design build your next project. City Construction Company, West Virginia proud since 1965.
The Polar Bears have the basketball, down by 4, 24-20, 4:32 to go first half. And Jules Butler will toss it in from right in front of me. Jackson Crusoe called for an illegal pick at the top of the key on the Bees' last possession, and that gives Fairmont the basketball. Grant, top of the key. Grant penetrates, back to Claybrook. Left wing Dobbs against Hunt. Drives down inside, gets it back to Cumberledge. Cumberledge falls down with the ball and gets it back to Grant. Grant penetrates, gets it to Dobbs on the baseline. A floater is good. Zykeas gets his first basket of the night, and the Polar Bears trail 24-22. 4 minutes to go. Second quarter. Bounce pass to Crusoe. Crusoe underhands it to Moore. Moore stops at the top of the key. Needs help, and his pass comes back outside and away from the ball. We have a whistle. Trey Cumberledge called for holding, and that will be his second foul. So Fairmont's getting some foul trouble now. Claybrook has 2. Dobbs has 2. And Cumberledge has 2. East with the ball out under its basket. Lob comes out to Crusoe. Down under the basket it comes to Stewart, and he puts it in. Stewart hits it. The Bees go back up by 4. Grant races down inside. Comes to Claybrook. Right wing Butler. Back top of the key to Dobbs. Penetrates for the basket. Passes to Cumberledge under the basket. He puts it up and misses, and the rebound knocked towards the sidelines and saved by Stewart of the Bees. And East with the ball in the front court now. Boyers with it at the center circle. Getting a 5 count. Gets rid of it. Crusoe gets it. Crusoe to Crookshanks. Top of the key. Crookshanks looking for a cutter. Nobody there. Over to Boyers. Bounce pass down inside to Crusoe under the basket now. 3-pointer from the left corner is good. That was Grayson Stewart hitting the 3, and the Bees extend their lead to 7. 29-22. Nice pass inside to Claybrook from Dobbs, and Claybrook lays it in. Durrell makes it 29-24. The Bees by 5. Boyers at the top of the key. Hands it off to Crusoe with 2:40 to go. He'll back up now, almost to the center circle. Cumberledge guarding him with 2 fouls rather. And Boyers dribbles towards the near side. Back now to Hunt. Polar Bears man-to-man. Crookshanks up at the high post. He sets lots of picks from there. And he gets the ball now, top of the key. Bounce pass down low, stolen away by Cumberledge. Cumberledge driving for the basket against Crookshanks. Steps around him, goes for the shot, and puts it in. Nice move by the junior, Trey Cumberledge, and East has a 3-point lead now. 29-26 from a high of 8. Boyers at the center circle, guarded by Butler. Gets it over to Crusoe. Crusoe against Cumberledge. Hands it off to Boyers. Drives in against Butler. Leans in, can't get a shot off. There's a steal by Claybrook. He'll drive for the layup against Crookshanks. Good! And he's fouled. Darrell Claybrook gets the steal, gets the basket, and after the foul by Crookshanks, he gets the field goal. He'll go to the line looking for the three-point play to tie the game, and he does. Claybrook has tied the game. He has 7, and it's 29-29, a minute 35 to go in the half. Pass comes to Crusoe, back to the basket at the top of the key. Guarded by Cumberledge. Now he'll back up and pass on the right wing to Crookshanks. Down low under the basket to Crusoe, cutting down the right wing, and he lays it in. And the Polar Bears trail 31-29, and Grant loses the ball in the front court, and the Bees come away with it. Down court to Hunt in the deep right corner, open for a three-point shot, no good. Rebound secured by Grant into the front court, 1-on-3. Now he'll get over to Dobbs, who drives inside, loses control of the ball in the lane, and a whistle. Held ball is called. Alternate possession gives it to the Polar Bears. Wilson into the Polar Bear lineup, replacing Dobbs with 59 seconds to go. Dobbs coming out because of those 2 fouls.
Get up!
Fairmont Senior down by 2, 31-29. May just go for one shot here with Dobbs sidelined with foul trouble, and Cumberledge and Claybrook also 2 fouls each. The Polar Bears will be content to take the last shot and take their chances on either tying the game or going up by 1 with a 3, or going into the locker room down by 2. The way this first half has gone, down by 2 a few minutes ago would have sounded pretty good for the Polar Bears, that is. So Grant is just dribbling the ball near the center line where it meets the sidelines in front of the scorer's table. Darren Washington is the official, about 7 or 8 feet away from him. East back in his zone, not coming out to pressure. And now Grant starts to make a move. Left corner Cumberledge, out to Grant with 10 seconds to go. Right wing Butler, top of the key Claybrook. Back to Butler, over to Grant, back to Butler. Over to Grant, three-point shot, right wing, off the rim, no good. Cumberledge goes for the rebound, and a whistle and a foul is called. And it's going on Trey Cumberledge, and that will be his 3rd foul right at the end of the first half. The officials having a conference to see if time has run out or not. We'll see if they put any time on the clock, and they don't. So it is halftime from the Fairmont Senior Fieldhouse with the score. East Fairmont 31, Fairmont Senior 29 on Fun 93.1.
I'm Keith Powell, and going on right now is my Keith Says Yes Fest. I'm saying yes to lowering your payments, yes to your trade-in, regardless of condition, miles, even if you're still making payments. My Keith Says Yes credit approval process helps me say yes, you're approved. So if you want new Chevys, yes. New Fords, yes. Lifetime warranty, yes. Come see me, Keith Powell at Yes Chevy in Hurricane and Yes Ford in Huntington.
An injury at any age can be a game changer. But with walk-in clinics Monday through Saturday, the Marshall Sports Medicine Institute is ready to get you off the bench and back in the game. Marshall Sports Medicine Institute takes care of the herd. Let us take care of you.
Hi, this is Meredith Mayer from Fairmont, West Virginia, and when I'm back home, you can find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We have that thundering herd pride at your local Par-Mar stores. We are over 200 stores strong and growing. Download the Par-Mar app for even more savings and sign up for the Par-Mar rewards card. Whether it's food, gas, or groceries, we have you covered. We are Marshall, and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Sandwiches, better with Pepsi. Since 1965, the team at City Construction has been an industry leader in all facets of construction, shaping the West Virginia landscape with some of the most recognizable commercial projects throughout the state. As one of the largest general contractors in North Central West Virginia, our outstanding record of quality workmanship and personal service is here for your next project. Call our team of experts today.
Give us the opportunity to design build your next project. City Construction Company, West Virginia proud since 1965.
Unusual sight here at halftime at the Fairmont Fieldhouse. You look up at the scoreboard and you see the visiting team with more points. The Polar Bears, in an undefeated season so far, trailing the Bees 31-29, but it was worse in the second quarter as East had opened an 8-point lead against Fairmont Senior. The Polar Bears fought back and tied the game at 29, but then the Bees scored to go on top by 2, and the Polar Bears had a chance going for the last shot, and the worst part of it was on the rebound after the miss by Andre Grant. Trey Cumberledge picked up his third foul with like 0.5 of a second to go over the back on the rebound, and that was probably more serious to the Polar Bears than the missed shot, which did not tie the game. And Fairmont Senior trails 31-29. The first quarter started quickly for Fairmont Senior. They got out to an early lead, but then the Bees came back, took the lead at the end of the quarter by a 16-14 margin. And then in the second quarter, actually, these two teams played to a 15-15 draw. You take a look at the first half and the second, and what's coming up in the second half. And for the Polar Bears, the concern is going to be foul trouble. I already mentioned the 3 fouls on Trey Cumberledge. That's serious foul trouble. But also Darrell Claybrook and Zykeas Dobbs, each with 2 fouls. And Dobbs is just simply one player the Polar Bears can't be without for an extended amount of time. In the first half, Zykeas, though, was held to just 2 points. We'll check all of the scores here in a little bit. But first, let's check on what's coming up next for both of these teams. Let's start with the Polar Bears, as what's coming up next is a bunch of games away from home as the season is winding down. And after tonight, it'll be a Friday night game on the road at Philip Barber against the Colts. That will be our last typical start time for the rest of the season, as that will be a 7:30 start from Philip Barber High School. The following Monday, after the Friday, the Polar Bears will play at Huntington, and that will be a 5:30 start. The reason for that is simply the distance away for the Polar Bears having to travel back home. And then following that, this is a new one on your schedule. On February 21st, which is just 2 nights later, a Wednesday night, the Polar Bears play at Bridgeport, and that game is now a 4:30 game in the afternoon. And I know you're thinking, wait a minute, why would anybody start a varsity game at 4:30? Well, the reason for that is the girls' sectional seedings just came out, and the Bridgeport girls get a home game, and sectional tournament play trumps regular season play. So the sectional tournament will be played at 7, and that bumps the regular season game back to 4:30. So that will be a varsity game for the Polar Bears on the road Wednesday at 4:30. And then, if that's not enough of time changes for you, the Polar Bears then close out the regular season on Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock. So we have 4 games left, and not one starts at the same time. Friday night at Philip Barber at 7:30, Monday in Huntington at 5:30, Wednesday in Bridgeport at 4:30, and Saturday at home against Charleston Catholic at 3. It's much simpler for the Bees because after tonight, East will play at home against Grafton on Friday, then play at home against North Marion the following Tuesday, then go on the road at Buchanan Upshur, and then start the sectional tournament. And all of East Fairmont's games will begin at 7:30. When we come back, it'll be time to check the first half scoring. That's coming up next, and the start of the second half. The score, East Fairmont 31, Fairmont Senior 29 on Fun 93.1.
I'm Keith Powell, and going on right now is my Keith Says Yes Fest. I'm saying yes to lowering your payments, yes to your trade-in, regardless of condition, miles, even if you're still making payments. My Keith Says Yes credit approval process helps me say yes, you're approved. So if you want new Chevys, yes. New Fords, yes. Lifetime warranty, yes. Come see me, Keith Powell at Yes Chevy in Hurricane and Yes Ford in Huntington.
An injury at any age can be a game changer. But with walk-in clinics Monday through Saturday, the Marshall Sports Medicine Institute is ready to get you off the bench and back in the game. Marshall Sports Medicine Institute takes care of the herd. Let us take care of you.
Hi, this is Meredith Mayer from Fairmont, West Virginia, and when I'm back home, you can find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We had that thundering herd pride at your local Par-Mar stores. We are over 200 stores strong and growing. Download the Par-Mar app for even more savings and sign up for the Par-Mar rewards card. Whether it's food, gas, or groceries, we have you covered. We are Marshall and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Sandwiches, better with Pepsi. Since 1965, the team at City Construction has been an industry leader in all facets of construction, shaping the West Virginia landscape with some of the most recognizable commercial projects throughout the state. As one of the largest general contractors in north central West Virginia, our outstanding record of quality workmanship and personal service is here for your next project. Call our team of experts today.
Give us the opportunity to design build your next project. City Construction Company, West Virginia proud since 1965.
Yes. Almost ready for the start of the second half. Just time to give you the first half scoring for East Fairmont. Jackson Crusoe with 13. Grayson Stewart 9. 4 for Maddox Boyers, 3 for Drew Moore, and 2 for Ian Crookshanks. On the Fairmont side, Cumberledge with 9. 7 for Claybrook. 8 for Grant. 3 for Butler, and 2 for Dobbs. Team totals: East has 10 twos, the Polar Bears 8. Fairmont Senior has 3 threes, the Bees 2. Both teams shot well at the foul line. Fairmont 4 for 5, East Fairmont 5 for 6. Biggest East Fairmont lead 8 points in the first half. And the Polar Bears trail 31-29 as we start the second half. Foul trouble again for Fairmont. Cumberledge has 3. Dobbs has 2. Claybrook has 2. And for the Bees, nobody has more than 1. Starting lineup for the Polar Bears will be the original starting 5. And the Bees will counter with Crookshanks, Hunt, Bowers, Stewart, and Crusoe. So East has the ball to start the second half, and the Bees now shooting at the entrance end of the facility here. That's the basket to my right. Here's Crusoe with the ball top of the key. Hands it off now to Stewart. Back to Crusoe, who drives down, pulls up from 16, and scores. Jackson Crusoe has 15 points, and Fairmont trails by 4. Grant drives inside and is fouled. Grayson Stewart will pick up his second foul. Blocking foul, you could see that, but it's not a shooting foul. So the ball's out of bounds to the Polar Bears, bounces in the corner to Dobbs. Dobbs now deep in the corner, throws it off a defender, Stewart, out of bounds to the Polar Bears. So Fairmont will bring it in play from the corner, the front court, where the sideline meets the baseline. Under the basket. Lob comes out to Dobbs, top of the key. The Bees have been in a zone, and it's been effective, limiting Zykeus Dobbs to just 2 points. Dobbs has it at the top of the key. Dobbs sends it over to Grant, moves around his man, back it comes to Dobbs. Right wing Butler open for a 3. It rolls off the rim, no good. Rebound Stewart. Into the front court now to Boyers. Boyers crosses over against Butler, tries to take him inside, can't get in, and it comes back outside now. Crookshanks has it. Over to Boyers at the top of the key. Boyers around a Crookshank's screen, drives inside against Dobbs, puts it up no good. Rebound pulled out of the air by Cumberledge. Races into the front court, has to be careful. He's got 3 fouls, almost got his 4th. Right wing, Butler, top of the key, Dobbs. A 3 is no good, and Grant tips the ball out of bounds to East Fairmont. Cumberledge was leading the break down court, and there was some contact, but the officials shook their head, said no, it's not his 4th foul. Maddox Boyers will dribble up. East with a 4-point lead, trying to extend it here at the start of the 3rd quarter. Crookshanks gets it top of the key. Crookshanks guarded by Cumberledge. Down inside the pass, batted down by Claybrook, picked up by Butler. Into the front court, 3-on-4. Butler, left wing, Grant, 18 feet out, it's good. Andre Grant gets the basket. And the Polar Bears trail 33-31. 6:20 to go, quarter number 3. The Polar Bears on a 30-game winning streak against the Bees, but there have been many times in this streak where the Bees have had second-half leads. East with the ball now. Stewart down inside under the basket to Crusoe. His shot blocked by Dobbs, and the rebound to Butler into the front court to Dobbs. Zykeas penetrates, bounces it down low under the basket, and a foul called against the Bees. Crookshanks, and going to the foul line should be Darrell Claybrook. So Darrell Claybrook shooting for the Polar Bears at the line to the left. On the season, Darrell shoots 72% at the line, and the first one is no good off the back of the rim. Claybrook averages 7 points a game this season, and he has 7 points in the first half of this one. Second free throw is good, so he gets 1 of 2, and the East lead is 1, 33-32, 5:55 to go, 3rd quarter. Polar Bears undefeated, 17-0, the Bees 13-5. Crookshanks back to the basket, top of the key, now pivots, looks at the basket, passes down low to Stewart. Grayson Stewart leans in, misses the shot. Grant rebounds, out to Dobbs, 3-on-3. Dobbs drives inside, the ball kicked, and it'll be out of bounds to the Polar Bears. So Fairmont Senior has a chance to take the lead now. About 5.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. And Zykeas Dobbs still has just 2 points. Left corner, Cumberledge, out to Butler. Butler back outside of Dobbs, back to Butler. Left corner, Grant, open 3-point shot, in and out, no good. And Crusoe has the rebound. Crusoe on the right wing to Boyers. Boyers guarded by Butler, staying close enough to get a 5 count. Works around a Crusoe screen. Hooks on the right wing to Crusoe beyond the 3-point line. He'll stop. He'll shoot a 3 from there. Off the rim. Rebound Cumberledge. Cumberledge up court to Grant. Grant loses the ball but picks it back up. Gets it back to Butler. Right wing Dobbs. Zykeas moves in closer. Back outside to Cumberledge. Underhands it to Butler. Polar Bears down by 1. Butler gets it to Dobbs. Down inside. A floater is good in front of the basket. And the Polar Bears take their first lead in about a quarter and a half. It's 34-33, Fairmont Senior. Crookshanks with it on the right wing. Outside now to Boyers. Boyers backs up with the ball. Butler gets on him to get a 5 count. Still getting a 5 count. Gets rid of the ball now on the left wing to Crookshanks. Gives up the dribble, passes to Crusoe. Dobbs slaps at the ball. Left wing, Hunt gets it. Hunt dribbles around a Crookshanks screen, then passes over to Boyers on the left wing. Boyers down to the baseline, spins in against Butler and lays it in nicely. Nice move by Maddox. Boyers down the baseline. East leads 35-34. Dobbs penetrates down inside, gets it back to Grant, top of the key. Butler, right wing, Claybrook. He'll fire a 3, air ball. Rebound comes down to Crusoe. Crusoe back the other way for the Bees. Bounce pass in the front court. Gets it to Grayson Stewart, and he's called for traveling. He was backing in, trying to get to the basket, but he moved his feet too many times after he'd already picked up the dribble. And the Polar Bears get it back in the front court, all the way down. Put up and in, good. And the Polar Bears now have a 36-35 lead, and a timeout called by the Bees. Timeout, 3:38 to go in the third quarter from Fairmont Seniors Fieldhouse. It's the Fairmont Polar Bears 36, East Fairmont 35 on Fun 93.1.
Hi, my name's Zach Frazier and I'm from Fairmont, West Virginia. And when I'm back at home in Fairmont, you'll find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that Golden Boot pride at Parmar. There are literally hundreds of Parmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Parmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Parmar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
An injury at any age can be a game changer. But with walk-in clinics Monday through Saturday, the Marshall Sports Medicine Institute is ready to get you off the bench and back in the game. Marshall Sports Medicine Institute takes care of the herd. Let us take care of you.
Sandwiches, better with Pepsi.
It's a good one at the Fairmont Fieldhouse. The Polar Bears have taken the lead here midway through the third quarter, but it's a slim lead, 36-35, and the Bees have the ball. Fairmont Senior drops back in a little bit of a zone now. Back outside it comes to Moore. Moore against Butler. Over to Boyers on the wing. Boyers lobs it inside. It's stolen by Claybrook. Up court it comes to Dobbs. Dobbs takes it to the point. Drives down inside in front of the basket and he puts it in. Dobbs has 6. The Polar Bears lead by 3. East with the ball. Boyers out on the right wing. Boyers to the top of the key. Dribbles down to the right wing now. Into the corner. Gives up the dribble. Butler on him closely. Back outside to Crusoe against Dobbs. Now he hands it over to Boyers. Left wing Hunt. Open 3. Off the rim. Rebound Grant. Up court to Butler. Butler driving down the left wing all the way for the basket. He gets contact, but he puts it in. Butler gets the basket. The Polar Bears have a 5-point lead. It's 40-35 with 2:37 to go in the third quarter. East Fairmont coach Tyrone Estrino shouting to his offense now, playing in front of him. Crusoe with it out on the right wing, guarded by Dobbs closely. Zykeas with 2 fouls. Over it comes to Crookshanks. Timeout called by the Bees. Timeout East Fairmont. 2:21 to go in the third quarter. Fairmont Senior 40, East Fairmont 35 on Fun 93.1.
Here at the Cracker Barrel, home-style food and great value go hand in hand, with favorites like slow-simmered chicken and dumplings starting at $7.99, or perfectly golden fluffy buttermilk pancakes with your own bottle of warm syrup. Come fill up on favorites without emptying your wallet. Cracker Barrel. Take care now.
2 minutes and 21 seconds showing on the clock here in the third quarter. East Fairmont, seeing momentum totally shift away from itself, has now called its second timeout of the second half, now down by 5. And here's Maddox Boyers with the ball on the right wing. Over it comes to Moore, back to Boyers. Boyers holds high, gets it now top of the key to Hunt. Hunt against Claybrook. Now left wing to Moore. Moore, left corner, Crusoe. Back outside to Moore. Right wing Boyers. Boyers tries to back in. Nothing there. In the middle of the lane to Crusoe. His 7-foot shot is good. Crusoe has 16. In the front court, Butler gets it for the Polar Bears. Fairmont Senior leads by 3. Here is Cumberledge. Over on the left wing now to Butler. Left corner Dobbs. Dobbs gets it in the lane to Claybrook. Back to Dobbs. Goes down the left baseline. Fakes. Goes up. Scores. And he's fouled. Dobbs with a little hip fake. Then went back up, put it in, and he was fouled by Crusoe. And Zykeas will shoot at the line to the left. He has 8 points tonight. 6 here in the third quarter. 67% foul shooter. It's good. He gets the three-point play, and the Polar Bears have their biggest lead, 43-37. 1:25 to go in the third quarter. Boyers with it against Butler. Over to Crookshanks on the right wing. Hands it off to Boyers. Boyers beyond the three-point line. Down low, nice pass to Crusoe, and he banks it in. Crusoe cuts the Polar Bear lead to 4, 43-39. Claybrook, right wing Grant. Grant goes all the way for the basket, puts it up off the side of the glass, no good. Rebound pulled down by Moore. East with the ball, a minute to go, third quarter. In the lane to Crusoe, puts it up against Dobbs and scores. Crusoe hits it, 52 seconds to go. The Polar Bears with a 2-point lead, and they'll go for the final shot of the third quarter now. Dobbs dribbling the ball outside. And Zykeas now not as much concerned about foul trouble. He had 2 at halftime. He had 2 in the second quarter, but he hasn't picked up another one since then. Grant with the ball now. Over to Dobbs on the left wing. Back outside to Butler. Polar Bears going for the final shot, leading 43-41. Now we're inside 18 seconds to go. Polar Bears trying to clear it out for Zykeas Dobbs. Down to 10. Dobbs against Hunt. Now makes a move down inside. Now hooks it back to Butler. Butler closer. Top of the key, Cumberledge. High arching three off the back of the rim. No good. Rebound tipped around, and that's the end of the third quarter. After 3 quarters from the Fairmont Senior Fieldhouse, it's the Fairmont Polar Bears 43, the East Fairmont Bees 41 on Fun 93.1.
Hi, this is Meredith Mayer from Fairmont, West Virginia, and when I'm back home, you can find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that thundering herd pride at your local Parmar stores. We are over 200 stores strong and growing. Download the Parmar app for even more savings and sign up for the Parmar Rewards Card. Whether it's food, gas, or groceries, we have you covered. We are Marshall, and we are Parmar stores.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Here at the Cracker Barrel, home-style food and great value go hand in hand, with favorites like slow-simmered chicken and dumplings starting at $7.99, or perfectly golden fluffy buttermilk pancakes with your own bottle of warm syrup. Come fill up on favorites without emptying your wallet. Cracker Barrel. Take care now.
The Polar Bears outscore the Bees 14-10 in the third quarter to hold this 2-point lead now 43-41. As the halftime score was East 31, Fairmont Senior 29, and now Polar Bears lead it 43-41. Fourth quarter lineup, same group that's played virtually the entire game for the Polar Bears. And Butler has it on the left wing. Down low to Claybrook under the basket, double team. Brings it back out to Dobbs. Top of the key, Butler. Right wing, Grant. Grant has 12 points tonight. Gets it over to Dobbs. Dobbs, cross court, left wing, Butler. Drives through the lane from left to right. Over to Dobbs, goes down to the baseline. Back out, throws it away. Tried to get it to Butler. Little off balance, and the pass sailed out of bounds out to the Bees with 7:36 on the fourth quarter clock. And the Polar Bears holding on to a 2-point lead. East led by as many as 8 in the first half. The Polar Bears as many as 6 in the third quarter. Here's Crusoe, top of the key. Hands it off to Boyers. Boyers gives up the dribble. Now Butler gets on him. Back to Moore around a Crusoe screen. Drives in against Claybrook. He blocks his shot. Claybrook has the rebound into the front court. Claybrook down to the left wing. Circles back out. Gets it to Dobbs. Right wing Grant. Right corner Cumberledge. Now Dobbs has it in the left corner to Butler. Back to Dobbs. Down to the foul line. Hands it off to Grant. Left wing Butler. Butler bounces it to Cumberledge. Left corner Claybrook. Dribbles it back outside. Passes to Butler. Over to Grant. Gets it to Dobbs. Dobbs top of the key, Butler. Back to Grant on the right wing. Left wing, Cumberledge. Thought about the three, didn't take it. Now it comes to Dobbs on the wing. Back outside to Grant, top of the key. Grant over to Butler, down inside to Dobbs. Back out left wing, Grant. Oh, he throws it right to Crusoe. Crusoe, 2-on-1, gives it to Boyers. He misses the layup. Moore misses the follow. Cumberledge has the rebound. And the Polar Bears have the ball in the front court. And a timeout called by Fairmont Senior. What a turn of events that was. Timeout on the court. 6:18 to go, fourth quarter. It's the Polar Bears 43, East Fairmont 41 on Fun 93.1. To Grant, left corner, three-point shot is up short, and the rebound pulled down by the Bees. Drew Moore has it. And Moore will dribble it up from left to right. Bees down by 2. Maddox has it on the right wing. Bounce pass comes to Crusoe against Dobbs. Crusoe hands it off to Stewart. Drives in against Grant, puts it up in traffic and scores. Stewart has 11 points. Polar Bears and Bees are tied at 43. Butler gets it out to Dobbs. Cross court, right corner, Cumberledge. Cumberledge brings the ball back outside to Grant now. Over to Dobbs, back to Grant. Left wing Butler almost loses it along the sidelines, almost throws it away. Grant gets it inside to Dobbs under the basket, puts it up no good, but he's fouled. And Zykeas will shoot foul shots at the line to the left. Grayson Stewart picks up his third. JV game tonight went into triple overtime, and East won at 74-72. We're tied here with 5:05 to go. And Dobbs trying to untie it at the line to the left. He has 9 points tonight. First one is up, and it is good. Fairmont Senior 44, East Fairmont 43. Polar Bear starters have played virtually the entire game on the floor. Second one is good. And the Polar Bears up by 2, get a little bit of pressure now. Boyers gives it up in the backcourt to Crookshanks. Back to Boyers. Still in the backcourt over to Moore. Back it comes now to Stewart, or Crookshanks rather. Back now it comes to Crusoe. Drives in, off balance shot is short. Rebound Cumberledge. Rebound comes out to Dobbs. Zykeas driving, has the ball knocked away from behind, out to the Polar Bears under their basket. It'll be Fairmont's ball, and it'll be brought in play by Jules Butler, the sophomore. Lobs it out to Dobbs, top of the key. Dobbs will dribble over to the right wing now and pass it to Cumberledge. Back top of the key to Grant. Dobbs gets it, goes down to the baseline. Cut off, bounce pass deep right corner. Butler open for a 3. High off the rim, no good. And the Bees control the rebound. Out of there with it is Boyers. Boyers into the front court. Down to the left wing. Down low under the basket. He throws it away. He tried to hit Crusoe. Crusoe's trying to tell him, throw it up high. The bounce pass went out of bounds. And the turnover gives it to the Polar Bears with 4:16 to go. Not much scoring here in the fourth quarter. We played about 4 minutes, and each team has scored 2 points. The Polar Bears, Butler has it against the east zone at the top of the key. Butler gets it over to Cumberledge. Back outside to Butler. Over to Grant, top of the key. Over to Butler. Back to Grant. Dobbs working down low, trying to get open. He does along the baseline. They get him the ball. He floats it up and rolls it in good. Zykeas Dobbs in double figures now with 13. The Polar Bears have a 47-43 lead. 3:38 to go in the game. Boyers against Butler. Passes to Crusoe. Crusoe pivots so he can see the basket and then hands it off to Grayson Stewart. Now Crusoe takes a long 3, no good. Rebound controlled by Boyers, and he lays it in good. Boyers getting a tough rebound down inside for the Bees, and the Polar Bear lead is 2, 47-45. And now Fairmont Senior backs it up. Dobbs dribbling out at quarter court. Over to Butler. Back to Dobbs. Dobbs starts to penetrate, then gets it back to Butler. Right wing Grant. Lobs down inside to Dobbs. The ball poked away from behind, and the Bees get the steal. Hunt gets it over to Crookshanks. Back to Boyers. East down by 2. Down low it comes to Crusoe rather. Puts it up, no good. Rebound tipped around, and Grant has it for Fairmont. Bounce pass comes to Dobbs into the front court. Dobbs cautiously dribbling inside, but then loses it from behind. And the turnover gives it back to the Bees with 2:30 to go in the game, and East trailing by 2. Boyers with it. Against Butler, getting a 5 count. He's going to have to get rid of the ball, and he does. He gets it to Crusoe. Crusoe back outside to Boyers. Boyers easy to pick out with those bright gold shoes as he dribbles at the top of the key. Bounces it on the right wing to Crookshanks, the East Fairmont football quarterback. Ball comes high, left corner. Grayson Stewart spins around Grant, feeds it nicely to Crusoe, and he lays it in. Crusoe has tied the game. 1:53 to go. Polar Bears have it, and a timeout called by Fairmont Senior. Timeout Polar Bears, 1:48 to go. An exciting game from the Fairmont Senior Fieldhouse. It's the Polar Bears 47, East Fairmont 47 on Fun 93.1.
Hi, my name's Zach Frazier, and I'm from Fairmont, West Virginia. And when I'm back at home in Fairmont, you'll find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that Golden Boot pride at Parmar. There are literally hundreds of Parmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Parmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries,
clock shows just 1:48 to go, and the game is tied at 47. And the Polar Bears have possession of the ball. Only one foul called in this fourth quarter, and it was against East Fairmont. So there will be a good bit of fouling in the last minute or so of this game, or there could be, and it will do no damage. It will send nobody to the foul line. The Polar Bears have the ball, and Dobbs just takes it, stands in the back court. Now he gets it across the timeline. We're down to 1:37. Polar Bears in a tie game with East. East back in the zone, and the Polar Bears backing the ball out. See how long East stays back. They're creeping out of that zone now as Hunt comes up to challenge Dobbs. We're down to 1:20, but then they back into that zone. They don't want to give up an easy basket here. And the Polar Bears are content to just hold on to the ball and go for the final shot if the Bees put them in that position. And Dobbs just dribbling the ball at the center circle. A battle of wills here. The Polar Bears willing to hold on to it if the Bees are willing to stay in that zone. And that's what's going on right now as the clock has turned down to 50. But remember, the thing about the fouls is if the Polar Bears would happen to break free, somebody could be fouled before they shot, and then the Polar Bears would just get the ball out of bounds. Now we're down to 32 seconds to go in a tie game, and East Fairmont still back in the zone. Now they'll just stay in it with 25 seconds to go, and the Polar Bears call timeout. Timeout, Fairmont Senior, 24.6 showing on the clock. The score, Fairmont Senior 47, East Fairmont 47 on Fun 93.1. 1 minute, please. It all comes down to the final 25 seconds. The Polar Bears have the ball. Game tied 47-47. Their 30-game winning streak against the Bees on the line here. East jumps out of its zone now, pressuring the Polar Bears in the front court. 10 seconds to go. Dobbs with the ball, penetrates, gets it back to Cumberledge with 6. Top of the key, Grant. Over to Butler, over to Grant. Gets it to Dobbs, drives inside, leans in. His shot blocked from behind with 0.3 of a second to go. And the Polar Bears want a timeout. Timeout Fairmont, 0.3 of a second left. The score, the Polar Bears 47, East Fairmont 47 on Fun 93-1. 1 minute. Hey, let's change that to a 30. Change to a 30. Just 0.3 of a second left in regulation here at the Fairmont Fieldhouse. The game tied 47-47, and the JV game was just like this. It went into 3 overtimes before East Fairmont won at 74-72. Both teams around their coaches now as the Polar Bears have the ball. They'll have it out under their basket. 0.3 of a second to go. Remember, the Bees could foul. The problem with that is Fairmont's going to be trying to shoot as soon as the ball comes inbound, so you certainly don't want to foul then. And now East Fairmont calls timeout after seeing how the Polar Bears have set up. Timeout Bees, 0.3 of a second to go. Fairmont Senior 47, East Fairmont 47 on Fun 93-1. No, just a 30. Jules Butler brings the ball in play from under the basket. 0.3 of a second to go. Game tied. It comes to Dobbs. He puts it up. Oh, it rolls off the rim. No good. And we're headed to overtime. Oh, so close. After regulation, it's Fairmont Senior 47, East Fairmont 47 on Fun 93-1. One minute here. 1 minute. Yeah. The Polar Bears haven't had an overtime game in a few years now, and we're right in the midst of one now at the Fairmont Fieldhouse with Fairmont Senior and East Fairmont tied at 47. The last overtime game was back in 2020, a double overtime game against RCB that the Polar Bears lost. So we'll start the second half with a jump ball. It'll be Dobbs jumping against Crusoe. Lineup's the same as the starting lineups. Dobbs tips it, and Grant has it for the Polar Bears into the front court. Back to Dobbs. Dobbs gets it over to Grant on the right wing. 4-minute overtime. Game tied at 47, and both teams very cautious in the fourth quarter and very little scoring. Polar Bears scored 4, and the Bees scored 6. Butler bounces it to Dobbs, left corner. Back to Grant, top of the key. Against the Bees zone. Butler down to the baseline to Dobbs. Back to Butler. Penetrates, then backs out. Right corner, Cumberledge. He thought about that three, then thought, no, maybe not. Butler gets it on the left wing. 3:24 to go. Game tied at 47. That last second shot by Dobbs on the lob into the lane. So close to ending it. Now the Polar Bears are backing it out again. Polar Bear students making some noise on the far side. As now Fairmont backs it out, trying to bring East Fairmont out of that zone. Now Crusoe drops back as Cumberledge comes up to the high post. And Butler just dribbles the ball at the center line. Nobody's challenging him, so he can stand there and dribble as long as he wants. East Fairmont fans are behind me. They don't like it. So Butler just dribbles the ball. We're down to 2:30 to go. 47-47. This is the chess match part of basketball. What do you do if you're East Fairmont? Do you get out of the defense that's done so well for you? Or do you just stay back there, but then run the risk of letting the other team get the only shot of the fourth or the first overtime? And we've already seen about 2 minutes run off the clock. Butler rhythmically dribbling with his right hand, standing still in one spot. Now he's getting a little antsy, moving a little bit out of that zone, and Butler moves a little and then backs up. 1:50 to go. Now Butler has the ball stolen away from him, and the Bees have it. Hunt will have it in the front court now. Hunt gets it back outside to Boyers. Game tied at 47 with 1:35 left in the first overtime. Bounce pass comes to Crookshanks. Crookshanks hands it off to Boyers. Boyers, top of the key to Hunt. Hunt, off balance shot is partially blocked. And there's Butler snatching the ball away. And it's knocked out of bounds out to the Polar Bears. Jules Butler, after committing the turnover on the other end, did a beautiful job of snatching that ball away quickly, getting the rebound. And the Polar Bears have it with 1:16 to go. Game tied in the first overtime, 47-47. Dobbs will have it at the center circle now, and Crusoe comes out to guard him. And Dobbs is getting a 5 count, so he'll have to move around just a little, and he does. He gets distance. Now Crusoe comes and challenges him again. Darren Washington counting off the time. Grant gets it on the far side, 48 seconds to go. Dobbs dribbling at the center circle, gives up the dribble, needs help now. Now he hands it over to Grant, back to Dobbs. We're down to 37 seconds to go, and the Polar Bears have just about taken almost all of the time off here in this first overtime. The game is tied at 47, and the clock is down to 25. Polar Bears may call a timeout here, as they do have one left, and they will do that. Timeout Polar Bears, 19 seconds to go in overtime. It's Fairmont Senior 47, East Fairmont 47 on Fun 93.1.
Full timeout. Zoe has a full timeout. He just wanted to make sure he had it third.
What better way to spend your Valentine's Day than a couple of overtime high school games? And that's what we have tonight. Polar Bears, with 18 seconds to go, now have the ball in the front court, tied at 47 with the Bees. Dobbs with it on the right wing. Dribbling close to the floor with 8 seconds to go. Now spins down inside in front of the basket, and as he goes for the shot, he's called for traveling with 3 seconds to go. He was in heavy traffic, and he's called for traveling, and East will have the ball baseline backcourt, and the Bees call a timeout. 3.1 seconds on the clock. Timeout with the score. Fairmont Senior 47, East Fairmont 47, here on Fun 93.1. Well, you get an extra one in overtime. 1 minute. East Fairmont has the ball at the baseline in the backcourt. 3.1 seconds on the clock. The Bees and the Polar Bears are tied. Crookshanks to get it in. Crookshanks looking, and he just gets the timeout called before a 5-second violation would have given the ball to the Polar Bears under their basket. Timeout East. 3 seconds to go in overtime. The score, Fairmont Senior 47, East Fairmont 47 on Fun 93.1. .30. The first time these two teams played, it was a dud. The Polar Bears won 43-25. It just wasn't a very interesting game. Tonight it's just been, well, it's been just the opposite, as this game has been tight the entire way. Each team seemed to have a pretty good lead. 8 points for the Bees first half, 6 points for the Polar Bears second half. But now we're tied. We're in overtime. East has the ball out of bounds. Baseline backcourt. They've got the full length of the court to go. 3.1 seconds. Two things they have to be concerned about. One, not getting it in time, and the other, getting it in but throwing it away. And Crookshanks, the East quarterback of the football team, will bring it in. He's looking. He throws it into Crusoe. Crusoe just launches one, blocked by Dobbs, and that's the end of the first overtime. We've played one overtime from the Fairmont Fieldhouse. It's Fairmont Senior 47, East Fairmont 47 on Fun 93.1.
1-1, 4 minutes.
Yeah. ready for the second overtime at the Fairmont Fieldhouse. The game tied at 47. Get this, though. At the end of the third quarter, the Polar Bears led 43-41. We played an entire fourth quarter, and there were only a handful of points scored. 4 for the Bears, 6 for the Bees. Jump ball hit into the backcourt. Grant gets it, then loses it out of bounds, but touched last by the Bees. And the Polar Bears get it out under their basket. The overtime period is 4 minutes, and it doesn't change when you go to the second one.
Then we're going to flip it because there was no possession until we throw it in.
So Fairmont has the ball out of bounds. It comes in. Dobbs has it on the right wing. Zykeas penetrates. Left corner Butler. Back outside to Dobbs. Right wing Cumberledge. Cumberledge backs up with the ball now. Back now to Butler. Left corner Dobbs. Dobbs cross court to Grant. Grant looks in for Dobbs. Can't get him the ball. Cumberledge gets it in the right corner. Back now to Butler on the wing. Left corner Dobbs. Dobbs starts to penetrate. Cutoff. Back outside to Butler. 3:30 to go. Grant gets it. Down to the baseline to Dobbs. Back to Grant. Left wing Butler. Back top of the key Grant. They're trying to get it to Zykeas and let him create down inside. He floats one up, no good. Rebound inside Cumberledge, but he misses the follow-up shot badly. And the Bees, Stewart gets the rebound. Out to Crusoe, top of the key. 3:10 to go. We're in the second overtime, tied at 47. Boyers with it at the top of the key. To Crusoe, back to the basket at the foul line. Hands it off to Stewart, who drives in and lays it up and misses everything. And the rebound comes down to Grant. Grant to Dobbs in the front court. Dobbs feeds it to Butler under the basket. He banks it in good. Butler gets the first overtime basket of the game. And the Polar Bears lead 49-47 in the second overtime. Outside with it is Boyers. Boyers against Butler. Hits Crusoe. He's at the top of the key. Crusoe hands it off to Stewart. He's driving down inside again for the layup, and this time he scores. And it ties the game at 49 with 2:20 to go. Dobbs gets it over to Butler. Back to Grant. East stays back in that zone. Grant fires it back to Butler on the right wing. 2:06. Fairmont has been content to bring it out and hold it here in the overtime. It did that in the first overtime period and also in regulation. 1:54 left. Dobbs gets it left corner. Back outside to Grant. Top of the key to Butler. Dobbs comes up to the high post, and Butler sends it over to Grant. Back to Butler with 1:40 left. Butler backs it out. 1:35 to go. Grant gets it left corner to Dobbs. Lobs it back out to Butler. Butler dribbling out on the right wing without pressure. And then the pass is knocked out of bounds, and nobody saw it. All three officials looking at one another and now signal East Fairmont ball. So the Polar Bears turn it over. An errant pass. Butler trying to get it over to Dobbs. Nobody touched it, and I don't know really if Dobbs knew exactly where he was. He didn't appear to even make an attempt for it. So now the Bees have the ball. 1:20 to go. Game tied at 49. Boyers with it to the top of the key to Crusoe. Back now to Crookshanks. Crookshanks gets it to Crusoe. He'll launch a three from there. Off the mark. Rebound Grant. Polar Bears have it. Grant fouled in the backcourt, but that's only the second team foul against the Bees.
Be sure with both passes.
Ball out of bounds to the Polar Bears in the backcourt with 1:06 left, and the game tied at 49. Polar Bears will bring it in the front court now. Get it across the timeline with 1 minute to go, and Dobbs will just dribble it out there. East starting to emerge out of that zone a little, but not too far. They just are extending the zone, but staying in it. 45 seconds to go. Grant back to Dobbs. Down to 40. You have two teams with totally different defensive philosophies here. As the Polar Bears virtually play man the entire game, East Fairmont loves to be back in this zone, and they don't want to be forced out of it especially in a situation where 2 points could mean the difference in the game. We're down to 20 seconds to go. Dobbs just holding it, and the Polar Bears will most likely call a timeout and then go for the final shot, and that's what they do. Timeout Polar Bears, 13.9 to go. Second overtime. Fairmont 49, East Fairmont 49 on Fun 93.1. Just a 30 here, please. The Polar Bears have the basketball, 13.9 to go. We're in the second overtime. The last time the Polar Bears played 2 overtimes, it was RCB. The last time the Polar Bears played 3 overtimes, it was also RCB back in 2014. And the Polar Bears lost that game too. So everything looked good until I saw who won or lost these 2 overtime games the Polar Bears have played. So what happens now is the Polar Bears have the ball out of bounds. It'll be sidelines, front court, 13.9 seconds on the clock. East can foul, and it won't send the Polar Bears to the foul line. We're not even close to that. The Polar Bears have 0 fouls in the second half, and the Bees have just 2. Now they're checking both scorebooks. This is not the time to have any kind of discrepancy when you've got 13.9 to go and a tie game in the second overtime. Grant will get it in. He throws it to Dobbs. 12 seconds to go. East in the zone. Right wing Grant. Back to Dobbs. 9. Dobbs over to Grant, right wing. 4 seconds to go. Butler on the left wing. Fires a 3. It's off the back of the rim. No good. Dobbs tries to launch one on a rebound towards the basket. It's no good. And that's the end of the second overtime. After 2 overtimes from the Fairmont Fieldhouse, it's the Polar Bears 49, East Fairmont 49 on Fun 93.1.
East has 2 timeouts.
We're getting into uncharted territory now as the Polar Bears enter the third overtime period. They did do that 10 years ago against RCB in a game that the Polar Bears lost. But recently, no 3 overtime games. They'll jump center again to start the third overtime. It'll be Dobbs against Crusoe. The Polar Bears have controlled these jump balls. Ball is in the air but thrown up too high, and they'll have to throw it up again. Darren Washington put the ball up. The officials don't have that much practice on jump balls anymore. This time Crusoe tips it, but Cumberledge hustles after it and gets it. Over to Butler. Now to Dobbs. 3:48 to go. Remember, overtime periods, 4 minutes. It doesn't matter if it's first, second, third. Claybrook back outside to Grant. See if Fairmont's a little more aggressive on this possession. The holding it hasn't helped them. Cumberledge back outside to Butler. Left wing Grant. Right wing Dobbs. Back to Grant, left wing Butler. Back to Grant. Now Cumberledge on the far sidelines, back outside to Butler. Game tied at 49. Lob comes to Cumberledge, left corner Grant, back outside to Trey. Cumberledge with it, he backs up on the dribble, and now passes over to Dobbs. Deep right corner to Butler, dribbles it back outside to Grant. Fairmont starting five has played virtually the entire game. Chris Wilson was in for about a minute. Grant, left wing Cumberledge, 2:55 to go. Back outside to Grant. Dobbs hit in the eye. It was accidental, but it still is a called for an official's time. He was coming around to get the ball from Andre Grant and sustained a finger in the eye. He's okay. He certainly can't come out now. Overtime, number 3. 2:46 to go. Polar Bears, Bees tied at 49. Fairmont Senior has won 30 straight games against East, and the Bees are giving them everything they can here tonight. Dobbs bounces it to Grant on the wing. Back outside to Dobbs. Left wing Grant. Grant back outside to Zykeas. Bounce pass comes to Butler with 2:25 to go. Now Cumberledge thought about the three, didn't take it. Back outside to Grant. Grant back to Cumberledge, deep left corner. Back to Grant now. Inside his pass, knocked down, stolen away. Hunt gets it out to Boyers. Boyers in the front cut, down inside, under the basket to Crusoe, and he scores. Crusoe hits the overtime basket, and the Polar Bears trail 51-49. Here's Butler on the wing, back to Dobbs. Dobbs drives down inside, bounces it to Claybrook, back to Grant, left wing Butler. Back to Grant, 1:52 to go. Back to Butler on the wing, left corner, Cumberledge. Back outside to Grant. Top of the key, Dobbs, 1:45 to go. Under the basket, beautifully to Claybrook, and he scores. Claybrook gets the basket, and we're tied at 51. 1:35 to go, third overtime. East with the ball. Boyers gives up the dribble. Lob inside under the basket to Crusoe, who got behind Dobbs, and he scores. Crusoe hits it. The Bees lead 53-51. 1:18 left. Lob comes over to Dobbs on the far side. Zykeas top of the key. Left wing Grant. Grant against Boyers, and an offensive foul on Andre Grant. Grant a little bit bothered by Maddox Boyers. Put an elbow into him and is called for the offensive foul. That was right in front of us too. And a timeout called by the Bees with 1:07 to go in the third overtime. East Fairmont 53, Fairmont Senior 51 on Fun 93.1.
Hi, my name's Zach Frazier and I'm from Fairmont, West Virginia. And when I'm back at home in Fairmont, you'll find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that gold and blue pride at Parmar. There are literally hundreds of Parmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Parmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Parmar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
An injury at any age can be a game changer. But with walk-in clinics Monday through Saturday, the Marshall Sports Medicine Institute is ready to get you off the bench and back in the game. Marshall Sports Medicine Institute takes care of the herd. Let us take care of you.
Sandwiches, better with Pepsi.
In the third overtime at the Fairmont Fieldhouse, East Fairmont has the ball with a 2-point lead. This is not something that's happened in any of the overtime periods for the Bees. A 2-point lead and possession of the ball out of bounds in the backcourt. It'll be Stewart bringing the ball in play for the Bees. Stands right beside me here at the scorer's table to get it in. 1:07 on the clock. In it comes to Drew Moore against Cumberledge. He'll dribble into the front court, gets it over to Stewart, double team, cross court to Boyers. Boyers is fouled by Butler, and the Polar Bears know in this situation they've got lots of fouls to make up for. That's the second against the Polar Bears. And the ball belongs to the Bees. Sidelines, front court. Stewart gets it into Crusoe. He hits Hunt driving inside, gives up maybe a layup, and brings it back outside, and a foul called against the Polar Bears along the sidelines. Durrell Claybrook gets his third foul. And the ball belongs to the Bees. Stewart to get it in, right in front of the East bench. Stewart looks, his pass overplayed by Claybrook. Claybrook collides with Tyrone Estrino along the bench area, and the ball is out to the Bees in front of the East bench. 52 seconds left. The Polar Bears can foul one more time without sending the Bees to the line, so they want to be aggressive, go for steals. And it comes into Boyers, and then he's quickly fouled by Butler, and that'll be the fourth foul. So now Fairmont will be able to send East to the foul line. The downside of that is, remember, the new rule this season, any fouls send you to the line for 2 shots. There's a question now about how many fouls. The scoreboard said 4, and then at the last minute, the scoreboard went to 5. So the question is, how many fouls does Fairmont Senior have? The scoreboard put 2 fouls up on that last one called against the Polar Bears.
Both books do have 4.
So you might hear the official in the mic indicating that both scorebooks say 4 fouls. So the scoreboard was incorrect when it said 5. So East has the ball out of bounds. 5, the difference is they would have been shooting 2 shots if it had been the 5th foul. So East brings it in play. Comes in the backcourt now to Boyers with 48 seconds to go. Boyers against Butler. Gets it across the center line. Getting a 5 count. And timeout called by the Bees with 39 seconds to go, just avoiding a turnover. Timeout in the third overtime. 39 seconds left. The score, East Fairmont 53, Fairmont Senior 51 on Fun 93.1. One minute.
Well, look out here.
Happy Valentine's Day from Fairmont Fieldhouse. A third overtime for your Valentine's enjoyment. And East has the ball, leading by 2 in the front court. Brought in play by Grayson Stewart. He bounces it in to Boyers. 37 seconds to go. Boyers gets it back to Hunt. Hunt gets it to Stewart. We're down to 30 seconds to go, and a whistle and a foul called against the Polar Bears' Durrell Claybrook. And that's going to send Maddox Boyers to the foul line for the Bees. First time the two teams played, he was 1 for 2 from the foul line. Tonight, he doesn't have a free throw. And he has 8 points. He's a senior. 30 seconds left in the third overtime. East leads 53-51. Boyers will shoot 2. First one is up, and it is good. So East has a 3-point lead. That's still a one-possession game. And we'll see what happens now with a second one by Boyers. It is up and it's good. And the Bees lead by 4. 30 seconds to go. Cumberledge rolls it to Dobbs, who lets it roll to the center line. Now picks it up. Now drives inside. Gets it in the left corner to Cumberledge for a 3 off the back of the rim. Rebound right inside. The Bees. Crusoe comes out of there with it, and he's fouled in the backcourt with 21 seconds to go. Foul on Zykeus Dobbs. And it's going to send Crusoe to the line for the Bees to shoot 2 with 21 seconds to go, and the Bees have a 4-point lead, 55-51. Tyrone Estrino excited along the sidelines. He has not witnessed something like this before. His team on the verge of snapping a 30-game losing streak against the Polar Bears. Free throw is good. East leads 56-51. Second foul shot, good. 57-51, 21 seconds to go. Dobbs gets it, drives down to the top of the key, all the way for the basket, scoops it up and scores with 16.8 to go. Timeout called by Fairmont Senior. Timeout Polar Bears, 16 seconds to go in the third overtime. And East Fairmont has the lead. The score is East Fairmont 57 and Fairmont Senior 53 on Fun 93.1. .30. East Fairmont on the verge of coming up with the upset tonight, leading the Polar Bears 57-53 with 16 seconds to go, and the Bees have the ball out of bounds. Baseline backcourt. Polar Bears have 5 team fouls, so if they foul, East will shoot 2 free throws. The Bees will bring it in play from the baseline in the backcourt. And they line everybody out of bounds. So they'll all run inbounds at the same time, and Stewart can run the baseline, and he does. Inbounds pass deflected out of bounds by Butler out to the Bees. 15.5 on the clock. Fairmont needs a steal and a quick basket, and then some more help after that. Here's Stewart getting it in. He gets it into Hunt, who worked around a screen from Crusoe, got open, and now Butler was fouled by Dobbs with 14 seconds to go. And Zykeus picks up his 4th foul. 14 seconds to go. And he's shooting 2 free throws at the line to the right. That's Blake Hunt to shoot. Hunt hasn't made a basket tonight. Usually a pretty good outside shooter. And he's shooting at the foul line. 2 shots with his team up by 4. Hunt's first foul shot is an air ball. So the Polar Bears still clinging to a little bit of life with 14 seconds to go, down by 4. One more shot for Blake Hunt, the senior. This one is good. And now it's a 5-point lead. It quickly comes to Dobbs, down to 12 seconds to go. Dobbs to Grant. He'll take a 3, partially blocked. Rebound tipped out of bounds to the Bees with 8 seconds to go. And East Fairmont is just seconds away from doing it, ending a losing streak that has stretched beyond 10 years. In it comes to Boyers, quickly tied up, but a foul called against the Polar Bears. And it'll go against Jules Butler with 7 seconds to go. The last time the Bees beat the Polar Bears, it was 2011. I was going to say I was a young man then, but it was January 23rd, 2011. The Bees beat the Polar Bears 48-46. They haven't won one since then until now. Boyers puts it up and in. So it's East 59, Fairmont Senior 53, and the Polar Bears will be handed their first loss of the season. Second win off the right side of the rim. Cumberland's rebounds to Dobbs. Dobbs in the front court, drives all the way for the basket, lays it in with 2 seconds to go. East doesn't have to bring it in, and it's a final. A sweetheart of a game for East Fairmont tonight as the Bees have beaten the Polar Bears in triple overtime. The final score, East Fairmont 59, Fairmont Senior 55. We'll have the wrap-up coming up next on